Hey, I hope that you're having a good day today and staying home and safe and healthy. And I'm just going to do a quick little video about the Norwex Enviro cloth. This is probably the most famous Norwex item. This is their microfiber cloth, and you may look at this in the catalog or whatever and say, you know, $15 to $20 for a microfiber cloth. I can pick that up at Target. I was the same way. When I first got started with Norwex, I was a very reluctant believer. My friend Nikki actually had to bring me her products and say, here, try these. Because I was like, you know, I have to have those sanitizers. I have to have that antibacterial stuff that we're accustomed to using. And Norwex is a little different because it is a physical clean instead of a chemical clean. You're physically removing those bacteria, germs, dirt from your home instead of adding chemicals to a surface in order to kill those. So the microfiber cloth is a little different than normal microfiber because it's a much finer weave. In order to be considered microfiber, a cloth has to be 1/16 of a human hair, the fibers that make it up. The Norwex cloth is 1/200th of a human hair. So it's much heavier and denser than a normal microfiber that you might pick up at Target or somewhere like that. The other thing about Norwex that's particularly important right now is that it's embedded with silver. So silver is naturally antimicrobial. That's why our ancestors ate out of silver dishes and ate off of silverware, is that if there were any bacteria on the food that had been prepared, then as they were eating it, that silver would kill those germs and bacteria. So when you're using your Enviro cloth, you can use this dry, like to clean up spills, or you can use it wet, which is the way that you want it if you're disinfecting a surface like your kitchen counters. I use this every day in my kitchen. I've had this cloth for a few months. That's why it's kind of got some spots and stuff on it. That doesn't affect its use at all. If I was concerned about it, I could wash them with some microfiber booster. But I use this everywhere. I use this to clean my stainless steel. I use this to wipe down my countertops. I use this to wipe down my floors when my kids have a spill, often all in the same day. I just rinse it out with hot water at the end of the night and rub it against itself. If I've got like grease or something on there, I'll put a little sprinkle of detergent that I keep in a salt shaker by the sink. And then I hang it up on some little hooks that I have on the wall in order to dry. And the next day it's ready to go. I wash these in my washing machine like once a week. I deep clean them in boiling water about once a month. So these are very low maintenance. And I want to show you right now how this works in terms of picking up bacteria. So one of probably the most germy items that you have in your home is raw chicken, right? We all cook with that, and we know that once you've had that on a surface or once you've had that on your hands, that you need to wash that up or clean it up somehow. So I'm going to take this chicken and just rub it straight on my countertop here. There's no trick to this, it's just a regular countertop. And got it all over my countertop there, probably grossing some of you out. And then I'm going to take my microfiber cloth. I've got this folded so that it's going to come in contact with the entire surface as I wipe down my countertops. So I'm just going to take this, I've wet it with water, nothing else, and I'm just going to wipe up that surface. Okay, I actually had chunks of chicken there that I'm wiping up. And then I'm going to lay that here on my counter so you can see how gross that is and what all I picked up. And we'll come back to that a little bit later. Now, I have this testing stick. It's called Hygiena Pro Clean. If you've ever worked in a restaurant or a daycare, you may have seen these before. Health inspectors often use these. And what these test for is the presence of bacteria. In terms of molecule size, bacteria is actually protein, is what it's testing for. And it's actually smaller than bacteria or viruses like staph or E. coli that you might have on that surface. So that's why they use these to test for protein, because if there's no protein there, then you've also cleared away the bacteria and the viruses. And on the side of this, it shows you that green means clean, gray means there's some protein present, And as it gets darker purple, then that shows you that there's a lot of protein present. So we have to get these from an outside company. Like I said, this is not a Norwex product that they created to trick you with this or anything. And I'm going to take this swab and I'm just going to rub it all over my countertop here, where I just had that raw chicken. Rubbing that on there real good. And you can see that the swab itself is remaining white. I'm going to put it back in the tube with the cleaner and give it a good shake. And you can see that it's still green. So we know that it's clean. Okay, now I'm going to take this swab and I'm going to rub it on my cloth that I just used to pick up the chicken. The way that this works is the Norwex fibers are designed in a star-shaped weave so that it draws the bacteria into the cloth to prevent cross-contamination. So I can use that cloth to clean my countertops, then I can turn around and wipe down my refrigerator or anything like that. And as you can see, that protein is not coming off on this cotton swab. So you don't have to worry about that cross-contamination between surfaces. When we do an in-home party, Nikki usually does this chicken demo, and then I turn right around and clean someone's windows with this same cloth because we're not worried about it cross-contaminating from one place to another. To show you that this is not a trick, I'm going to take my swab now and touch it to this chicken. And just touching it to the chicken, you can see how quickly it begins to turn purple. Then I'm going to put it back in my test tube here and give it a little shake. And you can see that it quickly turns gray. And within just a few seconds, it turns purple. And if we were to set here for a couple of minutes, it would get even darker purple. So you can see that the Norwex microfiber was effective in removing that bacteria from this surface. Had I not had that EnviroCloth, in the past I would have used a Lysol wipe to clean this surface. That was what I always used. I mean, most of us grew up using Lysol and bleach on everything, and I thought that I was doing the right thing for my family. Once I actually read those directions, which I didn't do until I had hosted a Norwex party, and saw that in order for that to sanitize and disinfect, I had to keep the surface wet for 10 minutes. 10 minutes, y'all. How many people actually use enough Lysol wipes to keep their countertop wet for an entire 10 minutes? I know I never had. So when I got to doing some research, it was basically removing 0%. None of that bacteria on my surfaces was coming off on those wipes. All I was doing was smearing the bacteria around and adding chemicals that was then getting transferred to the food we were eating, to my kids when they were touching the countertop. They're always sitting at my island, doing homework or playing with Play-Doh or whatever they're doing. So, you know, all of that was getting into their bodies, and I wasn't really killing the bacteria either. So do some research. You know, you're at home, go and look at the cleaners that you normally use. Read the directions, look at the chemicals that are in those, and see what you're putting into your home. You know, we've all done that same thing. It's just a lack of education. And, you know, until I started getting involved with Norwex, I had no idea how many chemicals I was using during a given day. So if nothing else, like we just want to educate you on keeping yourself safe and keeping your family safe, especially during this time. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Nikki or I, and we'll be happy to help you with anything that you need. Thanks, and stay safe, stay home.